Hey folks, welcome to the Adventure Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Mason. You probably noticed from the title, we're doing something a little different today. And also, I've been out all week traveling all throughout the Midwest doing a couple film screenings with my day job at Athletic, and it was awesome. So anybody from the show that came out, there were hundreds of people at each one, and it was incredible. If you want to watch the documentary that I've helped to make, I was a small part of it, but it is a beautiful film. It's called Inches to Miles, and it's going to be out 4th of June, so June 4th. So in a couple weeks at like 8 p.m. Eastern, we're going to release it on YouTube, so I'd love for you to sign up for the premiere. But getting to today's episode, we are throwing this over to our good friend, multiple alumni of the show, Aaron Millar, and his wife, Jillian, who was recently on the show. Aaron does these incredible series where he goes to these places and talks about what you can experience on an adventure in this location. And for this series called Utah Life Elevated, well, he's going to Utah. It's a documentary podcast that takes you on an unforgettable road trip through the Beehive State, and Aaron is your host. We're going to go through dinosaur dig sites, which I'm personally super excited about. I love archaeology and paleontology. So from there to canyons to mule riding through deserts and red rocks, it's full of the essence and the stories and the uniqueness that is Utah. I love Utah, so I'm so honored to be able to help promote this series. And there are 2 other episodes. You can find those. Just go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get podcasts and look up Utah Life Elevated by Armchair Productions. And the trip that you'll hear in this episode, you can actually book that through a company called American Sky. That is linked in the show notes. And if you want to find out more of other things you can do in Utah, go to visitutah.com. Hope to see you out there. Let's dive in.
Okay, you're not going to believe where I am right now. I'm at the top of a ski jump staring down a 50-foot drop into a pool. I'm at the Olympic Park in Park City. I don't know how I got here, but I'm in Utah. I'm here for adventure, and the thing about Utah is it's not just any old adventure. It's adventure at the next level. This is Olympic level adventure, and you can only do this in Utah. This episode is all about uniquely Utah adventures. Are you ready to come with me? Wish me luck. Welcome to episode 1 of our Elevated Utah road trip. My name's Aaron Millar. I'm a travel writer and the host of this series, and today we're going to be exploring adventures that are uniquely Utah. We're going to dangle microphones in hand from slot canyons, we'll race down berms with a pro mountain biker, live out my ultimate Western fantasy from the saddle of one very naughty mule, and at the very end, we'll return to the Olympic Training Center in Park City, where that mammoth ski jump is about to test the limits of my adventurous spirit yet again. But we're going to start our journey on a winding road, looking down into one of the most awe-inspiring fly fishing canyons in the world. This is beautiful. Where are we heading now, Ryan?
So we're heading down to Flaming Gorge Reservoir. Here in the Flaming Gorge National Recreation Area.
This is Ryan Kelly. He's been known as one of the best fly fishing guides on the Green River for more than 2 decades.
We're going to drive across the dam and then drop 500 vertical feet to the water. And we're going to float right below the dam for about 7 miles. It's one of the most famous stretches of fly fishing water on the planet. But it's also a unique place in that it can totally handle the pressure. Population varies tremendously, but it generally stays somewhere around 10,000 fish per mile, give or take, which is generally significantly more than most of the other famous rivers in the world. So it's unique that way.
That's going to make me feel so bad when I don't catch a fish now, knowing that there's like 10,000 underneath me.
Yeah, when you realize how many don't eat your fly. Yeah, I've often said if you catch 1 out of 100, you go by, you're going to have a really great day. A lot of people refer to this section as the aquarium because you're often staring at fish. So, yeah, when they don't care that you exist or your lure or your fly doesn't exist, don't feel bad. We're just playing a numbers game.
Flaming Gorge is unique because of the amount of zooplankton, the food that fish feed on, which means not only are they ridiculously abundant, the prize trout that you're going to pull out here will also be some of the biggest you'll ever catch. It is consistently voted one of the top 5 fishing destinations in the world, and it is beautiful. As we arrive at the dock and put in the boat, the water sparkles like crystal in the morning sun.
Let's put you in the front. But
Okay. Where are you going to be?
I will be in the middle unless one of you guys want to row.
Middle for you?
I just saw you row, and I don't want to compete with that. Yeah. Unless you like to see boats go around in circles.
Yes, well, I have seen more of those in my life than I need to.
We set off, Ryan expertly rowing us into the fast-moving river, while I look nervously at the choppy water ahead. That's right, this isn't your average float and chill. This is white water fishing.
We'll go through 7 rapids,
Oh yeah?
official rapids,
What about unofficial?
in which there'll be lots of little rapids like this, but we will try not to get the recording equipment wet.
Where does the name Flaming Gorge come from?
So Flaming Gorge was named by John Wesley Powell, gave
Okay.
it that name when he was doing his expedition back in 1869.
Coming through mapping. all the
Yep. So they launched basically where the top of the reservoir is now, called Expedition Island, in the town of Green River, Wyoming. And then shortly after that, the river runs into the reservoir. At this point, in about 25 miles upstream from the dam, or up lake now in this case, you go through a gorge that's really orangey red, where right now we kind of have more red, like almost like raw meatish, or like half-cooked meat, maybe, right? It's a much, it's more medium rare in here. It's much more of like a flame color in that, through that stretch.
Well, we're getting our flames from the beautiful aspen trees and the full colors here.
Yeah, we've got some good yellows down here, a few reds along some of the brush here, and we've got a bit of a stiff headwind at the moment.
I'd just like to say that this is no obstacle-free river. We have been expertly dodging massive boulders in the water.
This is our producer and occasional cackler in the background, Jason Patton.
Oh, that's funny. Because we're in the easy part. That's for sure. You know, that's one thing about this river. It's not a novice river for beginning oarsmen. You'll see boats go down in here at least a handful a year that will get flipped and go down. One went down yesterday, so we still might see it. All right, we're gonna shoot downstream a little bit farther here before we
looks
fish.
kind of serious.
As kids, we called it drop-off rapid because it has this quick drop right here. Oh boy. You could get in trouble if you went right through these center rocks. You can kind of see this first wave.
This looks really exciting.
Oh my All right, we got a 360 in. So I kind of view fly fishing, I kind of break it down into 4 categories.
Okay.
So you have casting, and then mending, and then stripping,
Okay.
and setting the hook. So we have our cast, right? And then a mend, you're gonna point, in this case, at that little white ball, white bobber. Strike indicator, as fly fishermen call it. And we're gonna draw a circle upstream or downstream. So kind of like you have a paintbrush in your hand, we're just gonna draw that circle and see how that gets it drifting. Again, if I don't do anything now, it's gonna tighten the line and it's starting to drag. So the line goes in these fingers. You pull underneath there till you have tension, and then they're going to come back up. Wait till you feel the weight get behind you. Okay. Let's try this. Go ahead and cast it straight at the shore right there. So that's what's called going cross pocket.
This is so fun. I am drifting along. I've got my leg locked in here. Dude, this is great.
Okay, gonna cast again.
Okay, take my time.
Yep. Yes, there we go.
Woo. I'm actually surfing through rapids and fishing all at the same time.
Hang on, there's a boat that we gotta go around. I was talking about sunken boats.
Oh my God, there's an actual boat.
Yep, wasn't expecting that. I looked up, I'm like, that's not usually there. Okay, let's go right side there again. All right, that was much more patient. Yep, you didn't have to throw so hard on the front side.
Okay, just let it kind of
let the rod do the work. I always say flat irons cost $1,000 for a reason. Lift up, you got a fish on. Okay, you're gonna lift the rod straight to the sky and just relax.
Okay.
We're gonna start
I got a fish on.
Yep, we're gonna start to strip. Okay. Yes.
Oh, he's pulling now.
Yeah, he's pulling hard. So just take your time. We're gonna let the boat wear him out a little bit.
There he is.
She'll rod to the sky, point right in the sky. That's what softens the blow.
Oh, he's pulling.
See, he's coming at you, so now you gotta strip faster.
Okay.
Then he's gonna go hard again in a second, so be ready for that.
Here we go, he's going hard.
Yep.
Oh, they're clever, aren't they? He's kind of going for it.
Goes faster.
Oh, God. He's going the other way now.
Okay, that's okay. We're gonna drift with him. If he pulls really hard, just let him have a little bit of line.
There we go. I just saw him pop up.
Yep. Okay, you're just, one more strip. Start to lift over my head.
Look at that. Oh, come on.
Try to do it nice and smooth.
I did it. All right. First fish. Yes.
Oh,
that's a pretty good one.
Sometimes it takes more than 5 minutes to get your first one.
All right.
So this is a brown trout.
Okay.
On there.
That's pretty good, isn't it? What is that like?
Yeah. It's about 16, 17 inches.
16, 17
So you
inches.
literally caught average.
Hey, I'll take that. I'll take average. And that is huge.
Okay, keep him in the water if you would.
Okay. Yeah, there you go, good little guy. Big guy. Yes! Oh, man, that was so fun. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for the tips there.
You're welcome.
Next, it's time to give Jason a try.
Oh, go now, go now. You got fish on there.
I saw that one run.
And another try.
No, go.
I tried to be quick and
Yeah, you were quick.
And another try.
Go, 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 go. Oh, shucks.
And another try.
You got him, that's fish. Lift up. Lift up. Oh.
And another try.
Oh, got him. Oh, yeah, he was there for a second.
Until eventually...
There you go. Let rod up. Let him run.
Look at you.
All right.
That one's real average.
Okay, bring it over yet.
God, Jason.
That's all right. We'll take it.
All right.
You.
Catching fish, especially in a place as beautiful as Flaming Gorge, is a lot of fun. And even more so when you beat your producer at doing it. But ultimately, that's not what it's all about.
You know, everyone fishes for a different reason. You know, some people like the adrenaline aspect, the anticipation of catching it. For a lot of folks, and you'll see, you know, like talking about the film, Mending the Line, which is about a soldier with PTSD. One, you're making a lot of decisions when you're fishing, and it kind of takes your mind off your problems or challenges or whatever it is. I just think connecting with nature also just helps give clarity. And I think it gives you the opportunity to kind of escape those things that are maybe cluttering life.
What a magical place. Thank you so much for taking us here. Look at the sun on the canyon walls there.
Just lit up.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Caught my first fish too. How
Glad
was
we
it
could
big again?
sneak it
3
in.
feet? Something like that?
7 feet?
Yeah,
Well,
40 pounder, wasn't it? Something like that?
You know, I'll leave the measurement up to you on that one.
We pull the boat from the water as the sun sinks below the glowing cliffs of Flaming Gorge. I came here for fun, but I left with something else too. Seeing that river, those firewalls looming over sparkling water now shadowed in dusk, is beautiful. But riding it, casting it, immersing myself in it offered something more. Ryan was right. The river washes your mind clean. It forces you to let go of all that busyness back in the real world, hundreds of feet above on the canyon rim. From Flaming Gorge, we drive 3 hours west to Park City, perhaps the quintessential mountain town nestled at the base of the legendary Park City ski resort. And we're gonna head up onto those slopes now, but for a different kind of downhill experience. While fishing was all about quieting the mind through that myopic, addictive activity, where we're headed next is all about flow.
Someone might call me a risk taker, but I look at it more as a risk manager.
Right.
So I understand what the risks are, and then I address all of them.
This is Park City local Eric Porter, a professional mountain biker who has taken the podium in just about every type of mountain biking contest you can imagine.
I used to call it turning off my brain, which I learn now is flow state, right? Turn off the parts of your brain you don't need so you can focus on what matters to landing the run or the trick.
Tell me what that's like, because I've read about flow state, but it's this kind of like mythical state, isn't it? What is it? What is that?
Yeah, it's basically your focus narrows to where like nothing else matters. It almost like slows things down.
Yeah.
It's incredible. It's what everybody chases, that once you've felt it, you know, it has a lot of things that play into getting that started. One of them is when your skill set meets the challenge. So if it's not challenging enough for your skills, then you're not gonna kind of end up there, but it's where you kind of have to get into that mindset.
The flow state is a well-documented psychological phenomenon reported by many athletes. We might call it getting in the zone. When you're in it, nothing can stop you. Things that usually require incredible amounts of skill are suddenly effortless and easy. In mountain biking, the flow state is everything. Obstacles come quickly, turns and berms spill into jumps and bumps around every bend. You have to anticipate what's coming. You have to ride without fear. And to do this, more than anything else, you have to be completely and utterly in the moment. Park City is the perfect place to find your flow. There are more than 450 miles of mountain biking trails from beginner to insane. We start out on an intermediate route riding out of town and straight onto a seriously steep climb to the top of Jenny's Trail, one of Eric's favorite rides. Adventure in Utah is such a big part of what the state is, why people live here and why people come here. But like, what is it about it that you're chasing, adventure? Because people say adrenaline, that's maybe part of it, but it seems like there's more to it than that.
Some might think you were chasing the thrill of the jump or the speed of going fast, but it's more that the feeling that's associated with that, you know, the stakes are high. You've kind of pushed your chips in, there's something on the line.
Yeah.
And then your skill set meeting up with that so that you can overcome that.
Yeah.
And it feels really good.
Do you find knowing this place through riding it for so many years, you have a sort of deeper appreciation for it, for having experienced it in this kind of really immersive way?
Yeah, absolutely. There's still trails I haven't ridden here, and I live here.
That's crazy.
And and the state of Utah as a whole. I mean, we've been here for almost 20 years now, and there's still places I haven't been that are pretty high on my list and really cool places. It's kind of a never-ending
pursuit.
Yeah. You can live here your whole life and still not check off the whole list.
And there's something really satisfying and nice about that, isn't there?
Right.
Yeah. You're never going to reach the end. You're just going to keep going deeper.
It's hard to get bored here.
Yeah.
It's really hard to be bored.
If you get bored here, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys had this like great interview going, and you just hear us like panting up in the distance.
Sorry, I literally forgot we were recording. I was like, oh my God, that was crazy.
This is producer Jenny Allison. No, not the Jenny our trail is named after, sadly. Our Jenny just flew into Park City, elevation 7,000 feet, and immediately joined our uphill ride. Straight up?
We're actually going to go down from here.
Down.
Yeah, we've done it.
Yes.
Just in time too, because it's starting to rain a little bit.
This is the top.
Yeah, so as we go down here, this is CMG, which is, it's actually short for Crescent Mine Grade. So this was an old mining grade that they used to go up and get the ore and old mining road. Now it's turned into a really fun downhill trail.
Nice.
It's got just a nice mix of kind of classic single track downhill with some roots and rocks.
Okay.
And then as we get a little bit further down, there's berms and rollers and gets a little bit more playful. The faster you're going, the further out you need to look.
Okay.
And same with corners, kind of looking through the corner.
Right.
And looking on down the trail keeps you away from the trees too. It's the same theory as tree skiing. If you look at the tree, you're gonna hit it. If you look through the trees, you're gonna find that route. You wanna kind of break evenly front and back. You don't wanna skid, because if you're skidding, you're not slowing down anymore really.
Right.
You've broken traction, and you wanna get your braking done before the corner. Always
That's a great tip.
lean uphill if you when in doubt.
I don't know, there will be doubt.
The other reason why we slow down first, and we try to minimize how much braking we're doing in the corner, is that if we're braking and we're cornering, we're asking these little rubber knobs without brains to do two things at once.
Right.
You know, we're telling them to slow us down and keep us from sliding out to the side.
Okay, yeah.
So you want to minimize the things you're asking your tires to do. So if you slow down first, then their only job is to keep you from sliding out.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's a good way of putting it. You got me a few tips here, and I'm staring downhill. I think the look downhill is looking pretty good to me now. I've earned it with my own two legs, pedal by pedal, stroke by stroke, and now I'm getting to cruise a bit.
Yeah, that's the best part about the cross-country riding is you paid the toll on the way up, you feel good, and now you get to cruise and get the payoff on the way down.
I don't know if you paid the toll. I paid the toll. Like, you weren't even out of breath. My legs have definitely paid the toll, but I'm ready to cash in. So should we go for a ride?
Yeah,
I'll
just,
follow you down.
You know,
well, I say I'll follow you down. I'll be about 2,000 feet behind you somewhere.
yeah. No, I think just remember to stay loose.
Yeah.
When you tense up and you get scared, that's when the problems happen. If you stay loose and kind of flow with it, right?
You know when you say that, it's like, don't think of a pink elephant, right? I'm definitely going to tense up. No, I'm not. I got this.
Yeah, right.
All right, downhill. Here we go.
Let's go.
Here we go. Okay. Nice flowy turn into the open valley. Woo! Wildflowers! This is just my kind of biking. Flowing. Body section. Oh my God, I almost came off there. Woo! Come on! Eric's doing wheelies down this.
The best part about this stuff is jumping around on the trail, even making jumps out of nothing.
Yes! Breaking into the corner, leaning, stand loose, commit. Whoa! All right, I'm good. Got this, Aaron. Got this.
I think the best way to describe that section of trail is like a roller coaster.
It really is. Park City! Whoa! Here we go! Oh my God! Jump!
Close but not too close, right?
All right, caught up with Eric. Oh,
This is so fun.
that is nice.
Yeah, you're just ripping down that.
That's my kind of trail. I totally get what you mean about the flow state. Like, I don't think I hit it there, but I can see where if you just get the balance right, because there was a couple of those bank turns where I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to commit to it and go for it.
Yeah.
And that is such a buzz. But in that moment of going for it, it's just like, that's all there is, right? You know,
Yep.
that's all there is in that moment.
Yeah, nothing, job, home life, like nothing else. No, there's no stress.
There
You're
is
just-
no to-do list when you're riding that trail other than stay on. Hold on, stay on.
Yeah, and the better you get, the more fun it is, because you're less stressed about hitting the ground, right?
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
more
yeah.
just having fun, and then you start to, you know, choose your own adventure, and you see little transitions here or there that you can jump off of, and
So cool.
it's really never ending.
God, this is such a great trail. All right.
All right.
Woo, let's go.
All right. There's a thunder.
Let's go. Woo. We ride the rest of the way down, each in our own style. Eric on the rim of each berm, popping wheelies between every jump. Jason feeling the need for speed and desperately trying to keep up. Jenny making her own way down carefully and deliberately, which maybe I should have tried. Whoa! Oh!
You all right?
Oh, I'm fine.
Okay.
That's what happens when your skill level doesn't match up to the challenge. But that's okay. The flow state doesn't always come easy, nor always last long. What's important is how you get there. And it made me think, if Flaming Gorge was about relaxing the mind, this was about focusing it, using adventure as a doorway into the present moment, and then passing through that doorway into the zone. From Park City, we head 30 miles west to Salt Lake City for a couple of days. You'll hear about that in our next episode, and then continue onwards to Bryce Canyon National Park near the southern border of the state. This is Wild West country, a place where gunslingers and outlaws once roamed free, and where, if you're lucky, you can still catch a glimmer of that old frontier spirit, especially on the back of a trusty steed.
There they are. Hey, hey.
Main thing is, just don't get behind them. They're all good, but they are animals.
This is McLean Meacham, our cowboy guide for a trail ride to Forgotten Canyon on the outskirts of the park. He is the West through and through. Cowboy hat, killer mustache, and the best pair of chaps I've ever seen. When we meet him, he's wrangling a string of mules that'll take us deep into the backcountry.
Okay. We'll put you
All right.
on this dude.
Can I?
We can probably put your coat in that saddlebag so we can tie it on the back.
Sure. Yeah.
This is Pinion.
Pinion. Hi, Pinion. We're gonna be friends.
He'll take good care of you.
Yeah.
Alrighty, guys, should we do her?
All right. Let's go.
All right, just give them a little nudge with their heels. We're off like a herd of turtles.
I'm okay to start like a turtle. That's fine by me.
All right, this is where you want to lean back your hair and push forward.
Yep. Oh, we're going down into the canyon now. Here you go, Pinion. There's nothing like the feel of jumping on a horse, or I guess in this case a mule. There's nothing like that feeling.
You're exactly right. And I know you like to hike, but there's nothing like riding through these canyons where you don't have to worry about where you're walking.
That's true. It gives you a certain freedom. It just sort of feels right in this landscape too, you know? It's just
You're in the West.
Yeah, you're in the West now.
And that is also what adventures in Utah are all about. 63.1% of the state is public land, the second highest percentage in America. That means it's wild. No one's built upon it. And somehow that makes it feel unique, like stepping back to a different time.
You about got this old country to yourself. This is our river.
Crossing a little stream here.
This is called Sheep Creek.
Okay. What kind of wildlife do you get out here?
Mainly just me. No. So,
You're the scariest wildlife out here?
yeah. So this canyon right here, you usually don't see a lot inside of here. Once you get into the Priya River, we got the desert bighorn sheep. We got elk that'll winter just above us right here. Got bears, mountain lions, bobcats, fox, coyotes. You got the sagebrush right here.
There's something about the smell of sagebrush, isn't there?
There's nothing better than the smell of sage. You just touch it with your stirrup. You can feel that, smell that.
Yeah, it just kind of puts you in this place. Like there's not many places in the world where you smell that and it immediately transports you to the West.
Exactly. You won't find too many places as quiet as this.
It's so quiet that you realize how much noise there is around you usually.
Exactly.
Listen. is truly silent here. A palpable pressure and constant reminder that you are somewhere outside the touch of modernity. No planes fly above, no cars pass in the distance, no electrical hum from the grid that surrounds modern life. But that silence is also rich, because within it are the echoes of the past.
So you think Butch Cassidy might have rode this exact trail here?
I'd almost guarantee he did. These were main travel ways for the settlers, pioneers, outlaws. But I just about guarantee old Butch rode this. You can be to the Arizona line in just a few hours right down through this canyon.
So this would be a good place to kind of hide out, right? You can run over the state line.
You would really want to be hiding because it's a good place to get ambushed in this canyon.
That's true too.
Perhaps no one has come to represent the wildness of the West more than Robert Leroy Parker, aka Butch Cassidy. Born about a 2-day ride north in Beaver, Utah, it is highly likely that he would have used this maze of slot canyons to hide out from the law. And he wouldn't have been alone. This is one of the key stops along the Outlaw Trail, a network of paths that ran from Montana to Mexico, used by the likes of Kid Curry and the Sundance Kid to escape the bounties on their heads. There's no danger of being ambushed today, but looking up at the red rock cliffs pocketed with caves and hideaways, it's easy to feel something of their presence to this day. And even easier for a kid that grew up on Westerns to imagine himself following in their stead.
I think 1,000 years ago and more, people were using this canyon for food and shelter, maybe living here seasonally. And we get to just pass through for a minute. But in that minute, we get to feel just a little bit of what it would have felt 1,000 years ago. And what it would have felt like 150 years ago when Butch Cassidy and the Wild Bunch were racing through here. You just feel it. And that's why coming to a place like this is so different than seeing it in a picture or a video. That'll never capture the feeling, the scent of the sagebrush, the wind on your skin, the full colors, the canyon walls lit up at sunset, fading into those fire oranges and reds. You have to be here to feel that. And there's nothing like it. If you've ever watched a Western, if you've ever dreamed of putting on a cowboy hat, this is where you gotta come, and you better see it on a horse, or in my case, on a mule. That's good enough, isn't it, Pinion? Yeah, that's good enough. Oh, wow.
This is a slot canyon.
So we were in a canyon that was maybe 30 or 40 feet across. Whoa. And it's just suddenly narrowed, and they're looking down through it. It's almost surreal how wavy the rocks are and how close they come. It's just, dude.
I've had like all my Wild West fantasies all at once.
I know. Yeah, me too.
It is thought that Utah has the most slot canyons of anywhere in the world, more than 1,000, and a few, no doubt, still waiting to be discovered. Formed over millions of years as rainwater seeps down from the surface, cutting narrow, snaking passageways in its wake, riding through them is surreal, the silence more profound than perhaps anywhere else. But as beautiful as they are also dangerous.
This is where you do not want to be during flash flood.
Right.
I'll tell you guys a little story here. About 18 years ago, I had a couple in here from Sweden.
Yeah.
Just below here a little ways, I heard thunder. And when you look up, this is what gets people in trouble. You can look up here and it looks blue, but it's not right here you worry about. It's stuff you can't see. So I just I took the picture right here, and we hurried up through there. And God, until I come around a turn, and here comes a flood. And I don't know if you've ever seen a flood, but it's a lot of debris, it almost looks like slurry. I was ahead of him just a little bit, so I whirled around, I come back, I was riding a new horse I just bought. This horse's name was Lucky. And that's only a few times I rode a horse, but anyway, so I took him and I headed right up through this little gap, and then people are looking at me and I'm doing this. They didn't speak no English. Right. Let's go. I slapped them 2 mules on the butt and they headed right up where my horse was. Within just a few minutes, that water is probably 7 feet high. Their eyes were this big around them. Wow. And so anyway, I just dropped the reins on my horse and I was walking up to get him and he tried to walk away from me and there's a big old flat rock right there and he tried to walk across that rock and he slipped and he hit that water and he was gone. And that's the saddle I had on him right there. But if you ever been around these floods, there's so much rolling rocks and stuff, it's so loud you can't even hardly hear. I couldn't see him, I thought he was gone. And it's about this time of night, it was almost dark. And so I jumped on one of the mules and I come up through here, and when I got right to here, the water was still probably that deep. And just as I could come around the end, that horse was on a bank right here. He survived. Wow. His name was Lucky too. He lived up to Lucky.
Did you name him Lucky before this?
No, that's the name he'd come with.
So how do you think he figured that out? Just got washed up on a bank, or he kind of...
Well, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through these slot canyons. They're going to be narrow, and then they widen out.
Right.
And I think he was able to get on his feet and was able to get up high enough to stay out of the water.
Wow. That's a crazy story. You saved those people's lives, huh?
Yeah. They almost started speaking English right there. Go ahead, see what it's like to ride through and ahead of me.
Wow. Yeah, this is amazing.
Watch your knees. Don't watch your knees hit the rock.
Oh, there's a piece coming up here where I think I'm gonna have to hold my breath to get through it. Watch out, Pinion. You got this. Stay in the middle. There we go. You got this. We got this. Oh, watch it. Oh my God. This is adventure recording right here. Field recording.
This is called the headache rock right here, so watch your heads.
You're not joking. Oh, wow. Coming around the corner here. And it's just opening out. Oh, here we go. Lean forward. You got it, buddy. I trust you. Wow, that was a big jump up. We're going up into the canyon now. Just following McLean up steep trail. Yeah! This is so much fun. You know, I've been on a horse a few times, but I think I'm a mule man.
I believe you are.
Now I really feel like I'm in a Western.
You are.
I am in a Western. And that's the point. The actual era that historians consider the Old West lasted only from 1865 to 1890. Much shorter than you'd probably imagine, especially considering the impact it's had on world culture. And though that time is long gone, out here it's easy to slip back, to close your eyes and hear the thundering hooves of the outlaw trail, the ghost of Butch Cassidy, to find in that silence and emptiness the freedom that only wide open space can bring. The sun sets slowly as we head back to the corral, crimson canyons darkening into a deep purple, nothing but silence and the scent of sagebrush on the wind. But before we go, I can't help but do one thing. Utah! Who needs to watch Westerns when you can star in one yourself? The next morning, we drive an hour south to Orderville on the eastern edge of Zion National Park. We're sticking with slot canyons, but this time exploring it in a completely different and more terrifying way. Because riding through a canyon on the back of a mule is one thing, descending into it dangling from a rope is another thing altogether.
And we're gonna come over this way. If you keep going that way, you're gonna take the express entrance to the canyon, which we don't want.
This is Micah Mansfield with East Zion Adventures.
This is a nice, healthy juniper tree. Looks like a great place to rappel off of.
Ooh, I'm getting my first look down the cliff.
Nice 80-foot rappel.
You kind of immediately, well, I've been looking forward to this, but you immediately, when you see that drop, get that little flutter, don't you? Like, oh, this is for real, we're here now.
Yep.
All right, let's get a pick of the three. You all still alive? All right, say dangle.
Dangle.
So yeah, we can start getting our helmets and harnesses on.
Alrighty. Okay, there's my carabiner and my little belays of ice there. Picking up my, we got the nice bucket seat harnesses here.
So we'll do that red loop on the front and up high. Those are called scuttle butts. We do a lot of butt sliding in canyoneering.
Awesome. Got the harness on.
Rope.
Whoa. A long way down. So it looks like we're kind of going down at a really steep angle, and then it kind of drops off into nothingness.
Yeah, so we'll go about 2/3 of the way down these kind of like ledgy steps, and then the last third it will be pretty vertical.
Excited.
Excited?
Nervous and excited.
That's a new one. So going on to body position as we go down, we want to get our legs nice and wide as we go down. You get your feet close together, you're going to kind of be swinging all over the place. It's going to be pretty unstable, but just try and focus on keeping your feet flat on the rock. The biggest mistake I think we see people make coming out here is they try and climb down the rock rather than rappelling down the rock. If you start going on the toes, your toes are going to slip out on you. You're going to smash your face into the rock. We call it kissing the rock, but it's a super awkward kiss, kind of like a first kiss. So we're going to avoid that and just keep our feet flat on the rock today, okay? If any rock gets knocked down, I'm going to yell out rock. Please do the same. If you see any rock get knocked down or accidentally kick some down, just yell out rock. If you hear rock yelled out, don't be like me and kind of look for the rock. It might find you right in the face. Just keep looking forward, try and get small under your helmet. Last, but certainly not least, as we know, this is a very special, beautiful place. Please do not do any graffiti, carve in the canyon, just leave the canyon in its natural state. We want to leave the area as we found it.
Anyone else actually hear their heart beating right now? I bet if you put the microphone up to my heart, Jason, you'd hear it.
Yeah. And it's honestly good to be a little bit nervous. If you were not nervous about jumping off a cliff, I'd be worried about your sanity a little bit.
Yeah, I feel it. I feel it.
So when you get down the bottom, just untie this from your harness and take yourself off the rappel here. But you are safe on my end here. Whenever you're ready to go, you can head on down.
This is why I totally trust you, but I'm still like texting that carabiner.
Hey, that's
I can't help but do it.
That's all right. I appreciate the check of safety.
Right.
We kind of go in that brake position.
Okay.
Start leaning back in your harness.
Yep.
We always want our weight in the harness and on the rope today.
Okay.
Our feet, again, are just kind of there to balance yourself going down. So kind of feel that weight in the harness.
Yep, I got
Start trusting it, and then when you trust it, you can start letting that rope out, going backwards.
So yeah, I'm leaning back on the edge of a slot canyon with about 80 feet underneath me. I'm just gonna, this is always the really strange part. There's something about going backwards. I mean, I'm sure going forward is worse, but all right, I'm getting to the edge here now. Woo! All right, this is coming over the first lip. This is where it gets kind of interesting. So I want to kind of get my brake on here. I want to lean back. All right. If I don't see you again, it's been a good life. Okay. Whoa, this is kind of weird. Cruising down. I'm way past the point of no return. I want to look behind me. Whoa. I can kind of see down over the edge. It's actually pretty easy to control this. You just gotta trust it. Oh, wow. Woo! All right. Feeling good.
Feeling great, sweetie.
Utah! All right, I'm coming to the real steep part here.
So I'm just gonna.
So as it gets steeper there, as you kind of go over that last little edge, just really kind of focus on keeping those feet flat on the wall.
Yep.
So your feet are going to start coming out more in front of you as you go over that edge.
Okay. Oh, I'm looking down now, about 40 feet. The canyon is dark. This is the steep part, so what I have to do now is lean back into a perpendicular with the vertical rock, which feels incredibly weird, but really fun. And the thing about doing this kind of thing is there is no other way to get this view, to get this feeling than doing this. And that's why you do it. It's scary, but adventure should be a little scary. Oh, I've reached an overhang now. So that's, oh, interesting. Adventure should be a little scary because that's where the achievement comes in. That's where the buzz comes in. Oh, wow. Coming into this amazing canyon now. Oh, okay, there we go. Feet on the ground. Woo! I made it. Yeah! All right. Wow, the figure of 8 that we use for the rappelling is burning. I feel great. All right, I'm good, I'm safe, off belay. I just love the buzz of being out somewhere like this. That's impossible to get to any other way. You have to rappel down, you have to commit, you have to challenge yourself and overcome that to get to these wild, empty places. We're on the edge of Zion National Park and there's no one else here. And there's something about that quiet, that makes it so special. What a buzz.
Got this. Goodbye.
The rest of the team soon follows me down. Jenny with a big smile on her face. Yeah! Jason, 3 sets of mics and tripods strapped to his back and dangling from his harness.
Oh, that's vertical. All right.
We've recorded in some crazy places before, and we're going to hit a few more before this series is done, but nothing like this. All right.
It's a little cooler in here, doesn't it?
Yes.
Right on.
Feels great. All right, lead the way. On to the next one.
This way?
Let's do it. That is beautiful, isn't it?
Really nice. This, though, is not beautiful.
Micah is pointing to some graffiti people have etched into the wall.
Yeah, it is really soft. Like, I don't mind as much when people just do like the mud and stuff, but when they actually scratch in, you can actually rub it out. So since it's so soft, just a little bit of sand on it.
So someone's actually, unfortunately, marked their initials here, which is awful.
Leave no trace. So I just kind of like to rub it off a little bit so then anybody else that comes through in the future doesn't get any ideas.
Yeah. That kind of works. It's a good reminder of what it means to be a steward of wild places like this. If everyone carved their mark into these natural treasures, they wouldn't be natural for very long.
Wait till you see our next downslide.
The second rappel is shorter than the first, but more technical, passing through a narrow gap in the rock that's slightly overhanging, making it hard to keep our footing.
It's a little narrow.
Further into the canyon, the slot's narrow, at times so thin, we have to turn our bodies sideways to slide through. At others, there's ropes to hold ourselves up by our hands.
This is like don't fall territory.
At one point, we actually have to bridge ourselves, our backs to one side of the canyon, feet pressed to the other, and down climb a 10-foot ledge. It's like being squeezed by a vice.
Oh, I even worked in a butt slide. How about that?
And then we reach the finale.
Yeah.
Seems the ground has ended.
That is
a cliff.
That seems a long way down.
All right. That one's for you.
Okay, we've reached the last and final rappel here. This is the most challenging one by far. Okay, I'm gonna step out here. Oh God, right. And I'm just kind of balancing on a little tiny ledge before I drop off on the other side. Okay, all right, I got this. Got this. Woo! think my feet go that wide. Oh, there we go. I'm fine. Yeah, it's kind of slippery, but I'm trying to lean back into it, so I get it. And I'm nearly done the last one. Oh, yes. Oh God. And then I nearly finished by falling head first into the mud. That would have been a finale. Canyoning is a challenge. It takes a certain amount of grit and honestly craziness to walk backwards off a cliff. And once you're in, the only way is down. But it's hilarious. We laugh the entire way down. And that's the point. The fun and reward comes from the challenge. You have to earn it. And because of that, it felt privileged too. To see a place that very few people see. But more than that, to experience it deeply, to be immersed in it and connected in a way that mere views could never do. Connected to each other too. Sharing that sense of danger, overcoming it together, bonds you in a way that only adventure can do. But through it all, what struck me most is how beautiful it is. The rock swirls and weaves like waves, as if we can see the water which formed these canyons over millions of years, frozen in time. Lines of orange, ochre, and reddish grey, twisting before us, creating an illusion of movement like walking through a kaleidoscope in slow motion. As I'm coming out at the end of this canyon now, what an amazing time. I felt incredible in there. It was like walking through a work of art, just looking up at the stone flowing all around me, the amazing colors coming in. And that was something I didn't expect. I expected adventure. I got plenty of heart racing, let me tell you. But I also got stillness. The canyon seemed to just hold its breath. And when I listened to that stillness, I began to really feel it. I felt this place emotionally, physically. I felt it in every part of my body and being. And that's what's so amazing about places like this. And that's what's so amazing about finding wild places, true places that are beyond civilization, places you got to rappel 80 feet to get into. And it's worth it because what you get in return is something that you can't find anywhere else. I found it here in Utah, where life and adventure is elevated. We'd reached the end of our road trip, but not the end of our story. We're going back where we began, to a windy mountaintop overlooking Park City, to a place where Olympians are made.
I always start by looking up at the sky. And that day was just, a quintessential Park City day. It was not a cloud in the sky. We called it Bluebird Day. And it was just absolutely breathtaking.
This is two-time Olympic medalist and Park City local Shannon Barkey. And she's taking us back to the starting gate of her medal-winning run here at the 2002 Winter Olympics.
And then I looked at the mountains, and no matter when I was competing in the Wasatch Mountains or the Andes or the Dolomites or the Alps, there's a piece of the mountains in my soul. And so being in gratitude for just this piece of the mountains that I get to experience. And then I looked down at the 20,000 or 30,000 people that were at the bottom and just being like, oh my gosh, they're all wearing red, white, and blue. They're cheering.
And now the crowd roars and rises to its feet to welcome the next competitor. It's Shannon Barkey.
And then just to look at the task at hand, which is 300 yards of moguls, the hardest thing that you can ski, the 2 jumps that I have to execute, and that I have to be the best in the whole world from the starting line to the finish line.
Down there, she told me earlier that she feeds off the crowd. She has such a great attitude.
When every other World Cup, they ask you competitor ready. And in the Olympics, it's Olympian ready. And in that moment, I just knew that I was meant to be there. I've never felt a moment in my life before that moment or after that it was just so right and so meant to be. And all of the stars were aligning for me to have that perfect run that I had trained for. So they said Olympian ready. I just had this huge smile on my face.
Won the Gold Cup, got several podiums leading up to the Olympics. It's time for her to...
And pushed out of the gate.
Hallie Ironquartz at the top. All she does have to do is maintain control through the middle section. There's 30 bumps again from the top bump to the middle bump. Quick turns, really, really quick turns.
And had one of the best mogul runs that I've ever had in my whole life. It was amazing. It was amazing. And I just wish I could relive it every day.
Shannon Barkey is leading here at the Olympic medals finals. 45.06.
Shannon took home the silver, the first of 34 American medalists that year. She soon also became the first women's freestyle skier to win multiple Olympic medals. It's an incredible achievement, but it's also emblematic of the spirit of adventure here in Utah, a spirit I've been searching for and glimpsing this entire time. And now it was time to put it all into practice.
This is a long, lonely walk. This is like the longest staircase I've ever done.
So, this right here, this light, when this turns on and it's green, it means it's your turn to go. So you want to look for this, and that means patrol, they know you're here, and they're going to get the bubbles for you.
This is Ryan Devine, a coach here at the training center, and the bubbles he's talking about break up the water surface, which is key for a soft landing.
When you land in the pool, natural tendency is going to be you want to kick your feet to get out. Don't do that because that's just going to hold you in place. So like relax your feet, let them float to your back, and just use your arms to swim.
Okay. Oh God, I'm like hyperventilating.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
Right, give us a word when you're ready.
See you on the other side.
See you, mate. Okay.
I always say, be where your feet are. So I like to start by doing a huge deep breath, maybe 2 or 3 deep breaths. And then using your senses. What do you see? What is in the sky? Where are your feet at? Do you smell the fresh air and the pine trees? What do I hear? Do you hear the breeze going through the trees or the birds? And I feel like when you can kind of eliminate that voice that's in our head all the time, that's having that conversation, whether it's good or bad, but eliminating that voice and just feeling and seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting, that brings you into that state of just gratitude. And I think when we can turn off all those things and bring in that surrounding, it's magic. And I think that's what we live for. And I think as humans, sometimes we forget that it really is that easy just to take a deep breath and look around and love where we're at and appreciate that. And that is the feeling that I tried to have every single time in the starting gate.
All right, keep your lights on.
I think I landed on my skis.
That was actually really good. You were nice and composed in the air. That was one of the better first jumps I've seen.
Woo! One of the better first jumps. That is uniquely Utah. That's so much fun. We've gone all around the state. We've ridden horses. We've ridden mountain bikes. We've climbed. We've fished. We've ridden rapids on rivers. I think this was the best. Ski jumping with the Olympians. Oh, it has to be uniquely Utah. How much fun was that?
I've been searching on this journey for something intangible, something hard to grasp. Not just adventure itself, but what it gives us and why we keep coming back for more. On the river, I learned stillness, to let the busyness of modern life wash away on the currents and cast of the line. On the trails, I learned to focus and find my flow, the place where challenge and skill meet and open doors to the present moment. I found silence, wonder, and beauty in wild places where few people dare to go. And I found freedom, a sense of limitless horizons that echo with the spirit of the West. But all of those things are really one and the same, because what they do more than anything else is help us to let go. Adventure at its core is about connection to ourselves and the wonder of the world around us. When we let go, we find the space to fill our soul. That is what it means to elevate adventure, and that is uniquely Utah. Thank you for joining me on our Utah Life Elevated road trip. We've got 2 other episodes in the series, and if you can't wait to hear them, don't blame you. Search up Utah Life Elevated wherever you get your shows. And remember, you too can experience everything we've done in this episode. How cool is that? Including, believe it or not, the Olympic ski jump, if you dare. Just go to visitutah.com for ideas and inspiration on booking your next trip. Or if you're interested in booking this whole thing as a package with lots of other cool stuff built in from the rest of the series, you can do that too. Just go to americansky.co.uk and search up Utah on there and you're going to find it, or just click the link in the show notes. We built the whole itinerary from scratch based on everything we did, and let me tell you, I had an awesome time, and I think you will too. A big thank you also to visittheusa.com, who partnered with us on this show and helped to make it possible. They are the USA's official travel and tourism organization. They're a top-notch resource for all things American travel. But what I really appreciate about them is the way they inspire visitors to explore deeper into the country. Not just those places that are top of your list when you think about America, but some of those other places, some places that you might not have heard about that much. But once you do, you're never going to forget. Places like this, places like Utah. So follow them on social at Visit the USA. They are on YouTube. They got an awesome YouTube, actually. They've even made a couple of IMAX movies, which are worth checking out. They're also on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and all the usual suspects. And that website, again, is visittheusa.com. Thank you to everyone who featured in this episode. Fly fisherman Ryan Kelly at Flaming Gorge, expert canyoner Micah Mansfield with East Zion Adventures, pro mountain biker Eric Porter at Park City, our trail guide McLean from Meacham Outfitters, ski coach Ryan Devine from Olympic Park, and of course, 2-time Olympic medalist Shannon Barkey. If you enjoyed this episode, stay tuned for more. Next time, we'll be digging up the dinosaurs below our boots in the land of unicorns and rainbows. You'll see what I mean. And exploring the mind-bending concept of deep time in the uniquely dark Utah skies. So hit that subscribe button and follow us wherever you get your shows. You're not going to want to miss any of this. This series was produced by Armchair Productions, the audio experts for the travel industry. Brian Thacker led our pre-production, Jenny Allison was our infill producer, Jason Patton recorded, mixed, and sound designed the episode and wrote it along with your host. That's me, Aaron Millar. I'll see you next time.